With interest rates on the rise and inflation hurting our bank accounts, that American dream of owning a home may seem more out of reach than ever before. So some may turn to timeshares to get a piece of that pie. But the Better Business Bureau has just released a new report with a lot of red flags to watch out for. Joining us now to break that down is our friend Steve Burness, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, Greater Chicago. Steve, thanks for coming on with us today. It is great to see you. You're looking good already in the office, ready to rock and roll, huh?
Already rocking and rolling early this morning.
All right, Steve. So what are some of the major complaints that your report reveals? Are you finding any sort of rise in deceptive practices in the timeshare industry?
Well, thanks for having me today as well. Yes, our study shows that the complaints are coming up since the pandemic. A lot more consumers, now that the pandemic is starting to ease a little bit, they're looking at these vacation timeshares, and they're getting taken all across the country. I was just recently in Las Vegas myself, and you can see the timeshare people kind of like getting you as soon as you walk into hotels or any types of attractions. So we've seen complaints increase for about 32,000 complaints in the last 3 years against travel-related industry with the Better Business Bureau. Most of those are timeshare, Brad.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. Steve, with the Better Business Bureau of Greater Chicago and Northern Illinois, a lot of people fall for this trap, if you will. Timeshare salespeople are famously or infamously known for long-winded presentations to get people signed on the dotted line. So how do you know when you're working with a good share timeshare company and a what are dead giveaways for a bad quote-unquote timeshare company?
Sure, Brad. What we say the tip-off to the rip-off is the high-pressure sales, that you can't leave. They won't let you leave until you sign on the dotted line. So many consumers have come to the Better Business Bureau and said, I just wanted to get out of the room. I just needed to get out of the room. And one of the complaints said they were diabetic and they needed to eat, so they had to get out of there, and they just signed to get out of there. And that's what really happens, is the high pressure, but really just doing a background check, Brad, on those organizations. I think most consumers are on vacation, they're drinking, they're having a good time. I have a friend who fell for this not too long ago. She was promised 2 front row seats to see Chris Angel, and it ended up spending $17,000 the next day at this timeshare thing. And then she took out a loan, of course, Brad, because you can't afford it. So she took out a loan. Now it's about $30,000 she has to pay back. It's a lifetime commitment. It's not just a timeshare, and they sell it as an investment, but it's really, to consumers, it's not an investment. It's really something that they can't get out of.
Yeah, and usually they lure you in with like, oh, the first 3 days it's $150, stay with us, nice place, da da da. That's kind of the lure to get you, and that's not when people get in trouble those first 3 days. It's when they get there, right, and then sign something extended. It's like they dangle this little carrot, and then once you're there, right, once you're there, and that's what you got to watch out for, is it not?
Exactly, Brad. They dangle that carrot out in front of you, whether it be free tickets. And now they're starting to use dinners as well. Come for this great dinner. It's this expensive restaurant. We can tell you all about this timeshare. But they started now calling it vacation clubs to get away from that name timeshare. So we want consumers to be careful, because it also be called vacation clubs. And that's something you need to be look out for. It's the same thing that you're getting yourself to. You get into this room, and then they basically won't let you out of that room until you sign on the dotted line, and they keep badgering you, and people just get frustrated. And some consumers are able to walk away on that, don't get me wrong, but sometimes consumers are not able to walk away, and that's what usually happens.
Yeah, that's remarkable. I got to give my father-in-law a shout out. He has been going to these things for 20 years, not my father-in-law, my brother's father-in-law, and has said no for 20 years. He's got the most remarkable ability to say no, but that's not common. Steve Burness, any other scams for us to watch out for as we hit summer? Inflation's out there. You're the guy who always knows, as you say, the tip off to the rip off.
Well, home improvement scams, Brad. I can't tell you, now that the weather's getting warmer and people want to get outside and take care of their lawns or homes in some way from the winter, is be careful of those door-to-door people. We're seeing an increase at the Better Business Bureau with scammers. Again, there's great organizations out there, but you have to do your due diligence. Somebody knocks at your door, you don't do business with them, because First of all, You have to do a background check on them to see if they're legitimate, they have license and insured. And secondly, you want to get 2 or 3 bids. So we're seeing those door knockers coming door to door and filling up your mailboxes or knocking on your door. I happen to be down the street, Brad, and I got this great deal for you. And those are the things that tip off to the rip off you got to watch out for.
Yeah, I happened to be walking by, saw you had a couple loose shingles.
Right.
All right, that's how it goes. Steve Burness, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Chicago, Northern Illinois, friend of the stream. Steve, we thank you for getting up early with us and sharing that with us. We will see you again soon.